What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Out here in the garage tonight, working on the boat, and want to kind of go over some stuff with the fuel system that we are doing here. So I'm getting ready to wire up the fuel safety switch. So we're getting ready to wire. So we're going to try to wire this up tonight, and that's situated. So we're not going to. I still need to get that set to the desired pressure that we need for when the fuel pressure gets to a certain psi, it will kick the light on. But let me go ahead and give you an update of what we have so far done with the boat. So I got the ignition system all hooked back up and working like it should. So we are using this switch here. So we're using this switch, which is the mag switch. We're using this for the ignition system. So I will pull this, and then the red light on the ignition box will come on. So here we go. We're gonna put this. And you can see that red light on the MSD box flashing. So then we'll just sit here and push that in, and that will turn the ignition system on, and pulling it out will turn it on. Pushing it in will turn it off. And then this right here is going to be my fuel pump when I get that all situated. I still got to wire up the relay and all that for the fuel pump, so I still need to get that relay kit for the Magna Fuel 500 fuel pump. I've already got power going to this, so I just need to get the wiring relay set up, and then I can run the wire up to the other side of this switch that will turn it on and turn the fuel pump on. So, and this is all for my bilge pumps. That's on. You got one right there, and then we have one back here and on the other side. So that's why 3 bilge pumps, and I also got my safety light that is going to be for my fuel safety for that switch that's on the back, that's on the regulator. That is what that is for right there, because right here is where I had a toggle switch that operated the ignition system and the fuel pump at the same time. So we decided to, after doing the fuel safety switch that's on the regulator, I decided to go ahead and wire up the ignition and the fuel pump separate for this. So the ignition system is working, and the box is working. So once we get close enough to fire this up, I'll get my tester and I'll hook it up to the coil and make sure that that's all working. So yeah, we're making some progress on this. So the goal for tonight is getting that fuel safety switch hooked up and running, or not running, get it up and ready to go. Get power and get the signal wire up to the light and all that. So what my plan is, right here, that screw right there is for when the ignition gets turned on. So right now there's no power going to it, and then when I turn the key on, it'll have power. So I'm going to go off of this one, and I'm going to run up to one of these, either this one or the one on the bottom here. I'm going to put power to that when the key comes on, and then I'll run the other wire from that power plug, run it up to the positive part on the light, and then the other one that is not getting used will go up to the negative side on the light. So that way, when I go to turn the ignition on, it will illuminate that light. And then when I flip the fuel pressure on, that light should go out. So that's how I'm figuring that should work. So we are going to set this to about 6, and I'm gonna have the fuel pressure on my gauge here. I'm gonna have that set at 8. So I had it at 7.5 last year. I'm gonna bump it up to 8 this year, give it a little bit more fuel, and then with this switch, we're gonna have that set at 6. So that way on here, if the fuel pressure drops to 6 or below 6, it will activate that red light that's up there in the front, and that will tell me to get out of it, shut it down, and figure out what's going on with the fuel system. So that's one of the safety things that we are putting on this year compared to last year. So because last year, is I think one of the things is that the fuel pump got plugged and caused our lean issue and stuff. So we're gonna put the safety on there, get that done. So tonight we are gonna get this hooked up, and we should be able to run the wires up to that. So my plan is I'm gonna just kind of drape the wires over to that light and kind of get that set up, see if it works. And then after it works and we make sure it does work with turning the key on, then I will actually run the wires a lot nicer and cleaner. And I also am in the process that if I do that, I'm going to put an inline fuse in there, so if something happens, it'll pop that fuse. I do have one extra inline fuse that's under here that I will use. I actually ended up using that inline fuse for my other fuel pump. So since I pulled the other one out and this fuel pump is going to get the relay, I'll just take that inline fuse and actually use it for that safety, that fuel safety. So so let's go ahead. I'm going to get you guys set up, and I'm going to get some wire to kind of drape over up to the front and get set up, so this way we can see if this works and figure out which connector we need to hook to. So I'm going to determine that tonight and get the wires ran, and then once I get that done, then I'll run the wires in along here, and I still got to clean all that up and zip tie it and kind of make it look cleaner and stuff. And then I tuck up the wires there that's not getting used. So I'm going to zip tie those wires up that's not going to get used. But other than that, we got power to the gauges. That's all working. Got the new starter put on. That works. No issues there. I ended up tapping the key, and the starter cranks it over. I did not get carried away on cranking this over due to that this does not have oil in it and a filter on it yet. So hopefully by this weekend I get the oil, filter, and get my new valve covers on. Those are on their way. Hopefully I can get those this week, so we can get the new valve covers, new header gaskets, and then I can get the bolts to finish that, and then once that's done, I'll get the oil put in it, get those bolted down, and then we can crank this thing over and check the oil pressure. So we're getting close. The list is getting smaller and smaller, and then we'll go from there. So let me get you guys set up, get some wire here so we can get this situated, and we can go from there. So give me a second. Wrong one. Okay, so now what I did is this one here. So right there, we're gonna test it on that right there. And I'm gonna put my test light on this and see if we're getting power without the key being on. Okay. So right now we have nothing, and nothing there. Oh. So nothing. Now I will go turn the ignition on, and we will come back and do the test for that and see if that works. Okay. Power's on. There's the voltage gauge. Now, let's see what we have. And there it is. 12.4. And then 12.4, 12.1. Okay. So now I'll turn that key off. We'll go back and check it. Keys off. Nothing on the voltage gauge. Nothing. Nothing there. Okay, so now I will run another wire right where that one's plugged in, and I'll drape it because I kind of have the wires right now just kind of draped over, and I will kind of have it ran. I have it sitting right here in the seat, so I'm gonna hook that to that light, and then what I'll do is that way that's the power wire going up to there, and I'll hook that to the positive side of the light, and then I will get another wire to go from this one to the negative side of that light, and then that way when I turn the key on, that light will come on, and I'll kind of explain it a little bit more once we get that ran. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this wire stripped and set to that light, and then we'll run another wire to the negative side. So let me go ahead and get this situated, and I'll show you the process on that, what I'll do, and go from there, and we'll test this. So here's the other end of the wire. I'm gonna strip it, and then I'll just kind of figure out a way to get it set up temporarily for right now to test everything. Okay, there we go. So there was just a little hole on one of the connectors. So this is the connector we're going to be using. So there is a little hole on this prong. So I just kind of made the wire thin enough to kind of sit and kind of hook that in there. And then now I'll grab another wire to hook to the negative side of that and run it up here to the negative side of this light. And then with that, we should be able to turn the ignition on and this light will come on. So let me get some more wiring and we can give that a check right there. And then once that works, then it'll be pretty simple to wire stuff up. And then when I go to wire this light up for the negative side of it, I'll use a different color of wire. I'll probably use a black wire, so this way I know that if we ever do run into an issue and stuff, that I'll know that the red is for the power and then the black is going to be for ground and all that. So to get some other wire, I do have some red wire sitting here that's kind of loose that I'll use just for temporary right now. So let me get this situated and then we can check it. Okay, so this wire here is the positive wire that will be on the positive side of the light. Now I just need to get another wire to go from this one, and this will go to the negative side on the light. So I'm gonna get another light and then we can run, or another wire, and then we can run this from here to that light and then check that. So this is the wire that's going to go to the negative side to the light. And so this is just kind of draped over everything right here, all the way up to the front. Grab my tools and we'll go up there and get this light hooked up. Okay, so now, So now I got the power going to the switch. You actually walk back here, and then we'll walk back up here, we'll turn the key on and see if that works. Okay, so we got the power coming from right there. That's the ignition going to the bottom hook, the bottom one of these, and then I have the other wire coming from the power up to the light, which is right there. And then I have that wire, which is the negative side, going to the negative side of that light. So, so the whole purpose of this is when I go to turn the switch on, the ignition, it will have no fuel pressure. So, in that case, it should illuminate that red light, saying that there's no fuel pressure, or the fuel pressure is below the set PSI that we set it at. Right now, the switch has not been set, so I believe this switch came to set at 15 PSI. So right now, that light should be on because there's no fuel pressure to it. So we are going to set the fuel pressure safety switch at 6 PSI. So when the fuel pressure gets to 6 or below 6, it will turn that light on. I'm going to have the fuel pressure set at 8, and again, if it drops to 6, that light will come on, and then that will notify me to get out of it, stop, turn it off, because there is a problem with the fuel system. Because again, like I said, the last time that we had an issue, the fuel pump got plugged and stuff, and was not supplying fuel up to the fuel rail here, so it wasn't feeding the carburetors the amount of fuel that it needs. So now, and see, of course, before I didn't have anything to notify me that there was an issue with the fuel system. Now with this being the safety it will notify me if there is a fuel loss in it, and then this way I can go in and in this case, this way I can go in, figure out, I can start with the fuel filter, check to see if it's plugged, and see what's going on with the fuel system, and check it from there. And then if there's a problem with the fuel system, or like the fuel filter getting plugged, then I can clean it and make sure everything's out of the fuel lines and all that. We can rip the fuel system apart, clean it, and then recheck it. So now, since we got the wires kind of ran up here, we're going to go ahead and turn the ignition on and see if that light comes on. So right now it's set at 15 and there's no fuel pump will not get turned on or none of that, and that should illuminate the light for it to come on. So let me hop up in here and we'll take a look. Okay, so let me get you guys set. Okay, here we go. So it tells me we got a problem somewhere in the wiring. So let me take a look and see what we have going on. Okay, so not sure what's going on with this, and not really getting why this is not working like it should. So I'm gonna have to do some more research to see if I'm doing something wrong. I might be doing something wrong, hooking this up wrong. So I'm going to do some more research and stuff on this to figure out what needs to happen for this and how it needs to work. And I figured putting power to it from the ignition when you turn the ignition on, and then run the power up to the light for the power side, and then the other side would be from the other part to the negative side of the light. So I flipped wires, maybe see if it was different on that, but not working like I thought. So I'm going to do some more research to see what I'm doing wrong and how it needs to be done. Maybe there's a step that I'm missing. So I'm going to look into that, figure out what to do and stuff. This is why I kind of ran these wires over everything just to test this out before I ran everything nice and neat and zip tied everything. I just wanted to test this first. I thought this was going to be a simple slam dunk, but it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and do some more research on that, and then once I figure it out, I will let you guys know and all that. So we're getting pretty close of getting this thing done. Just need to get that hooked up. Get the relay for the fuel pump, get that wired up, and then get the wire ran up to the switch for the fuel pump, and then get that sensor adjusted to where it needs to be, and then water lines, valve covers, because I gotta get the water line for the intake, one here, and then I got one there. I'm gonna have to do some plumbing, and because I got the water lines here and right here for that go in, I just need to do the water lines to exit out of the intake, and I got another outlet back there in the back, and I need to get that mounted. I'm gonna mount it kind of back right over here for me to get to, and then run the run the water line to that is for my headers, so that way I can control how much water is going through the headers and out. Because for the horsepower range and stuff and what this thing's making, it is just pretty much blowing through this. It's pretty much just blowing by that for the power that this thing's making. So I'm going to so I bought that control for the headers, so this way I can control it myself instead of having to play with it, and I can control it myself. So really there's not too much left to do. Get that light fixed, and then get the filler necks for these. I get the filler neck here, and then I can get this mounted right here for the return line. You have that for both sides, because this tank here, this tank right here, is going to be my pump gas tank, and then here behind me on the passenger side is going to be the race fuel tank. So I'll have my race fuel on this side, and then I'll have the pump gas on the driver's side. So pump gas we're going to use for just cruising around, cruising it around, and just that, and then if I ever decide to go out and want to make a hit, across the water, then I will switch tanks. I will turn the valve off. I do have a valve for the return line, and I still need to get the valve for that because that's the main fuel line for both sides. So I have one here, and then I have one on the other side for the other tank. So this way I can shut both fuel tanks, and so I can shut one fuel tank off and the return line for that tank, and then turn the other one on, and vice versa for when I do that. So right now I believe we have, I think with just the setup, I believe we are on 5 pounds of boost. So we dropped the boost down from what it was before. I'm not going to share how high this was before, but yeah, right now it's on 5 pounds, and we're going to kind of just slowly, gradually go up, get comfortable with this, and then we'll put the other pulleys on and go from there. Because right now we want to get the plugs to read like I want, and timing, get the timing, make sure you get the timing situated, which I believe the timing is good. We just need to get the fuel situated and all that. And then once we start getting the fuel where we want and the plugs like we want and red, like where I need it and want it, then we can start playing with boost and timing and stuff from there. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to figure this out. So, and then because we are getting pretty close to lake season. It's February. It's supposed to be February 3rd or 4th. I can't remember. It's been a busy day. So because we got 4 months left before lake season gets here and stuff. So like I said, June, I believe there's an outing in June that I'd like to go to down at Meredith, so we can hopefully get this ready and get it done and going. So, and I believe that is, from what I heard, that is the second week, or the next weekend after Memorial Day weekend. So we're trying to get things going, thrashing on this. That's why I'm trying to kind of put this first, because for little hiccups like this, I need to get figured out and adjusted so we can get it figured out. And then, so that way between Memorial Day weekend and then possibly whenever that is, from what I heard, is the next weekend after Memorial Day weekend, or the second weekend after the beginning of June. So I'm trying to keep up with that and figure the dates and stuff out, but I want to try to get going on this. So whenever we do start getting beautiful weather there towards May and probably sometime in June, before that get together is down at Meredith, I like to go out and test this, make sure there's no issues, and then if everything is good, then we will be going down there for that get together and stuff down there. So that's kind of the plan and all that. And then also what my plan is I'm also going to get some GoPros to put on here. I'm going to put one up here in the front, kind of up there by the steering wheel and stuff, or somewhere kind of right over here or on this side. Kind of get some onboard footage. And then I like to get one to either put up there on top of this or back there behind the motor on that back there, so we can get the footage of that back there. So this way, when I'm out cruising around and maybe doing a pass across the lake, you guys can have the onboard footage of me doing that. Because I know that some of these footages that I've been taking, the 2 times that we were out, that I did take the footage, it was kind of bumpy and stuff because I was trying to drive it and then hold the phone at the same time. So the plan is I am going to get some GoPros to put on here, so that way at least if I do a high-speed pass across the lake, then I have to worry about me dropping the phone and stuff and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much trying to get this set up. That was the whole point of this video tonight, was to get this set up, get this light working and all that. So we're going to get it figured out and go from there and see what I did wrong. I might be missing something, so I'm going to do some checks into that and see what I did. So yeah, again, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And if we're getting pretty close, so hopefully my goal is hopefully next month we can fire the boat up, depending on the weather, and if it's not freezing or cold, snowing outside, where I can back the boat out, because I just need to open that door and back the boat out, just for the pump to be outside and the headers being outside, and that way I can hook the water up and do all that. So that's my goals. Hopefully next month we can fire this thing up and check everything. So if you guys want me to do this, if you guys want to see me fire this thing up, and thinking about going live on here on YouTube to do this, if you guys want to see that, like the video, and let me know if you guys want to see it live when I go through, start the boat, and go through my checks and all that stuff with it, and all that. So my plan is for next month to fire it, unless something seriously comes up where it stops me from doing it next month. We won't. But as of right now, the way everything's going, we should be able to fire this thing up. I'm hoping next month, but again, that is depending on how the weather looks outside. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. Again, like and subscribe, share with your friends, let everybody know. Let's grow this channel, and let's grow this channel together. And there's going to be a lot more to come and all that, because I have another vehicle on the other side of the red truck that I'm actually working on. You guys have actually seen that in the background here before, so I'm kind of working on that. So that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. Again, please like and subscribe, and let me know if you guys want to see me go live on firing the boat up, and see me go through my checks and checking for fuel leaks, and checking the fuel pressure and all that. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. Again, like, subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.